Hey everyone, a big part of what I do these days is look at data and take action to increase the important KPIs in the business. Contact rate, closing rate, placement, persistency, acquisition cost, things like that. Doing it by agents and by marketing source. And one KPI that it's really important that's not discussed ever is tenure. Tenure being how long an agent is producing. And I wanted to share some insights on this video on what we're seeing here based on, when new agents come to digital VGA, the ones that leave, we look at that data. And the ones that are successful, we compare it to that data as well. And there's some interesting stuff we've come up with, but there's one specific, just overarching theme of it all that I want to explain here, and hopefully it resonates with y'all. Okay, so every month I look at agents that leave digital VGA, and the vast majority are, of course, in their first 1, 2, 3 months, and it's easy to say that, oh, he just didn't make the calls, or she just didn't learn the sales process, and just dismiss the agent. Of course, that's the easy cop-out way to look at things and see things. And of course, we look for things that we can do better because we can always improve on agent development on our side. But when you dig deeper into new agents not making it, they're just not moving fast enough. That's it. Okay. Specifically, they're spreading out their upfront lead spend and remaining idle for most of the day. As they say, what's that saying? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. I think that's how it goes. When agents aren't busy and they're mentally unoccupied, the negative thoughts start creeping in. The distractions start becoming, bad habits. And you just can't get to that place in the beginning. Okay, your issue should be trying to improve things like your contact rate, your sales rate, your placement rate, even if they're low. And if they're low, that's okay. Just the fact that you're tracking and you're aware, it's an incredible sign to a trainer or whoever's helping you in the business that you're likely going to make it if you keep pushing forward. Okay, so guys, if you only have $3,000 to spend on leads and you're getting into this business, life insurance telesales, right? Spend it in your first 2 to 3 weeks. And by the way, it's $3,000. That is the minimum you have you need to spend to have a fighting chance in this business. Okay, even if it's on credit card and you pay it off in 30 days because the commissions will pay for it within the first 30 days, that's fine. And $3,000 is just the minimum. You really need to spend more than that to have a better chance at making it here. Okay, but take as many leads as possible in the beginning. Do not spread it out. Even if you're new and uncomfortable, that's a normal feeling. Start getting those commissions coming in sooner rather than later. Don't spend $500 a week for 6 weeks if you have $3,000 to spend. That is one of the things I'm seeing where agents are just not getting traction. And when I look at notes from our trainers on agents that leave, every agent that leaves, I look at notes, I look at data. I want to see what, if there's any trends or anything like that, right? And I can tell you that, that when I look at the data, it's mostly agents not taking enough leads. And I see a lot of the coaching calls are mostly mindset, okay? About, just, hey, this happened, I'm not, they're getting way too emotional on every single conversation that they have because they're not getting that many at-bats, okay? So you got to get in the rhythm of figuring out the business and don't let yourself go idle, because you're going to build the right habits from the very beginning really fast if you can just move quickly. So what we've seen and what we know to be true here of new agents becoming successful is successful agents simply move faster. Okay, that's it. Generally speaking, it's not the leads. It's not their script or sales process. It's not their natural talents. They're not smarter than you. They're just faster than you. Okay. if you're in the beginning stages of this business and you're not getting traction and you're having these thoughts creep into your mind about if this is for you, you have too much idle time on your hands. Okay? Take the leads. Create problems for yourself, right? Your close rate. Oh, you're not selling enough for the people that you're talking to. Great. At least you're talking to people and you figure that out quickly. Okay? For example, I mean, by the time a new agent milks their $3,000 lead budget over 6 weeks, right? Successful agents, they've failed a few times. Okay? They've lost some money on leads and processes that ultimately weren't for them. Okay? But they gained the experience, the specific knowledge, and they figured out the right path for them, the right words to say. You know, maybe a sales process, you don't connect with some words on a script or sales process, and you make it your own. And you realize that, okay, I can deliver this much better. It's way more impactful. Or, you know, a certain type of lead or a certain, whatever it may be, you're going to figure out a better path forward for you during that time. As my partner Nick says, and he reminds us of this every week when we're moving too slow. You guys, he always says this, right? Move fast and break shit. Excuse my language here. And you'll find the right path quicker that way. Okay? You have to have the mindset in this business and in life that life is urgent. This business is urgent. Okay? You have to take decisive action here. If you're sitting idle, scrolling through social media, and in your head, you're in your head about making this business work. Is this even for me? You're not moving fast enough. That's all it comes down to. You have to be engaging in revenue-producing activities all day. Only then are you going to gain the specific knowledge of what works and what doesn't work for you. All right? Because it's not just about moving fast. It's about failing fast. I'm sure you guys have all heard this. It's kind of a cliche thing. Fail fast, fail forward, right? But if you're not failing, you're not trying. Okay? Failure is a good thing in the beginning. You're going to learn from it. Okay? It's the shortcut to success here. Learn what failure looks like, avoid it, and get over it quickly. You now know what not to do, and you can now focus on the things that you know work for you. Okay? So, for example, the Facebook leads you're working, that you're doing okay with, okay? You're profitable, but you're not making life-changing money, okay? If you are just in it, working all the time, you don't have that idle mindset, right? I would ask you, how's your speed to lead? If it's not less than 5 minutes, you're likely going to do okay with that. But that's something you're going to learn with specific knowledge, all right? The agents that you see that are writing 10% of their leads consistently, 9-10% of their Facebook leads consistently, you're probably thinking, what's wrong with me, right? Because I'm only writing whatever, 5, 6, 7% of my Facebook leads. But really, if you dig into it, you look at your speed to lead. It's taking me a couple hours on average, to call my leads when they come in, right? And if that's you, and that's okay. You can still make Facebook leads work, but you're going to need to make more dials. You're going to need to, work them a lot harder than somebody who calls their leads quick enough. So, I'm giving you this example because there's an agency at Digital VGA that has over a 65% contact rate on their Facebook leads, the same Facebook leads you're likely working there, okay? And they have that 65% plus contact rate because they have an average speed to lead in under 60 seconds, okay? They have a team that's in a queue that when a lead comes in, it gets assigned to the person who's available to take the call right now, and that's how they're getting that contact rate, and they write 9-10% of their Facebook leads, and they're very, very profitable. So an independent agent, you're going through the motions, you're going as quick, you're figuring out that, hey, I can't get to these leads in time, so I got to call them, number one, quicker, but number two, I got to call them more often in order to get a higher sales percentage. Those are the things that you're going to figure out if you're in the trenches and working. But if you're just sitting idle, thinking like, all right, my contact rate's only like 20-25%. Shoot, I can't make this work because I have to have my cost per conversation is this, and You're doing all this mental math, but really you're just not taking enough leads because you're sitting idle and you're having these thoughts creep into your mind. Okay, moving fast, you're going to figure things like this out. That's what this agency figured out because they're moving fast. Okay, for inbound agents, let's do an example for inbound agents. Okay, let's just say you're doing okay, just like Facebook. Yeah, you're profitable. You're just not, making that as much money as you need to make. Okay, how many calls are you taking a day? If you're not speaking with people all day, you'll never get in a rhythm. And getting in a rhythm is the most important thing in any sales routine or any sales position, right? Guys, inbound calls are expensive. It's true. I hear that from agents daily, but compare that to the cost per conversation of a Facebook lead and the effort required to produce that conversation, and it's comparable. All right. So if you think about it that way, and I would say this, if you can't call your leads quick enough, inbound calls make a lot of sense, but you wouldn't know that unless you move fast enough. Okay, there's these things. I'm just giving you these two basic examples of some things you'll figure out just by moving fast. All right. So if there's one thing I want to leave with you here, it's this: speed is a strategy. Okay, not just for performance, but for survival in this business. You have got to, you have to take as many leads as possible. And you have to move fast. You can't let your mind wander, okay? The agents who win in this business aren't waiting to feel ready, okay? They're not overthinking every call, every lead, every move they make. They're getting in the game and figuring it out while in motion, okay? If you're waiting for clarity, you're already behind. Your clarity is turning into these negative thoughts as you're waiting there, okay? The successful agents in this business are the ones that are moving forward every single day. They're making the mistakes and they're learning from them. Okay. Clarity comes from action. It doesn't come from just waiting to see what's going to happen. It comes from action. All right. Confidence comes from momentum. You got to get that confidence and that momentum. That's what I want to leave you with, guys. Go all in. Move as fast as you can. Remember, idle hands don't build anything, okay?